corner where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by betonline.ag. BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, the game starts here. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns. I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary Chiefs tight end Jason Dunn on a monumental episode. I'm seeing everyone so lively in the chat tonight. We got some good stuff coming. You can see in the lower third here. We got our guy Cole waiting to come on here, so it's going to be a good episode tonight. Very excited for it, JD. It's been a long time coming to get this collab going. So happy we got it going on tonight.
Yeah, man. I am so excited. I am absolutely so excited, exhilarated, and thrilled to have Cole on. I told Cole, man, on Twitter how much I just enjoy his content, the things he does for Chiefs Kingdom, bringing everything to the fan base, just the knowledge and information. And I love his format, how he has everything just laid out. And so, Cole, you can tell, man, is just a cool cat. I'm going to enjoy having this conversation with him, talking about the kingdom as much as you are, Marcus. But I know everybody in here is going to enjoy it as well. So I guess we're going to bring our guy in, man, and see what Cole's talking about, baby.
Let's do it.
How about those Chiefs?
Yes, sir. Let's do it. The man of the hour, Cole DeRuse, coming on, baby. What's up, Cole? How you doing, brother?
What's up, guys? Thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it, man. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's go. Let's effing go. That's how you do it, right? That's how you say it, baby? Yeah.
LFG. I say let's freaking go.
Let's freaking go. Yeah. Yeah. It's good stuff. It's good stuff, man.
You know, when I hear LFG, I think of two people. I think of Tom Brady, and I think of you. So those are the two people I think of. You're on that pedestal, buddy.
Let's go, man. Well, first off, thanks so much for having me. I've been following you guys for a while. Obviously, lifelong Chiefs fan, so following what JD has been doing for years in and out of the NFL. So it's an honor to be on here, and I'm just a fan at the end of the day. But it's been a lot of fun creating content for Chiefs Kingdom, and there's plenty to eat, plenty of room to eat all around. So, appreciate what you guys are doing and several other Chiefs content creators in the space. So I'm honored to be on. Let's go.
Absolutely. Well, the feeling is mutual, brother, seriously, for what you do. And I'm a fan of yours. And like I said, your content, I think, everybody here in the chat, man, is going to enjoy it. To sit here just kind of talking some good Chiefs football right here. So, let's get it popping there, Marcus. What we got, baby? What we starting with?
Well, obviously, it's training camp time, so it's week 2 of training camp storyline. So we're going to begin with a good story here. A friend of the show, actually, Deneric Prince is going to be our first topic here. We're talking tonight. So we get tonight talking about our running back room. Obviously, CEH has been ill, but he came back today, suffering from PTSD, which we talked about at length on Monday, sending our prayers and well wishes out to him. And maybe that day off yesterday kind of did him some good, so he's back on the field today. But with CEH out, that's given an opening to our friend of the show, Deneric Prince, second-year running back out of Tulsa, and he's been looking pretty good. Pass pro looks 10 times better than what it looked like last year at this time. And I remember, JD, you always talk about the second-year guys or the first-year guys, pass pro, regardless of a first-round pick or undrafted guy. That's something you got to work on. And it looks like he's done that so far. But obviously, without CEH, you have a pretty young and experienced room. As much as we like Deneric Prince, we got a lot of inexperienced guys back there. So behind Pacheco. So a lot of fans are talking about Jerick McKinnon. He's still out there. And this was also prompted by a video from the Chiefs social media team, and I'm going to play it right here, which has a lot of people talking. It was already a thing bringing Jet back was already a thing. And then you have this video come out. I'm going to play this right here.
I miss you. It's 2, 5, and 10. I miss you. Shout out to my dog Jetty. 2, 5, and 10. I miss you. Ooh. Shout out my dog Jetty. 2, 5, and 10. I miss you. We miss you. Jake gonna be like, my dog, I did. Oh my God.
Fantastic. They obviously missed their guy.
Yeah.
But while it is funny, and by the way, Pacheco, he can sing. He can sing. They got some levels there between the two of them. But obviously, they missed their guy. But this is something that Chief fans are talking about with CH missing practice, with these inexperienced guys back. That people are talking about potentially bringing back Jet McKinnon. So my question to you guys is: do we roll the dice with Deneric Prince, or do we bring our guy Jerick McKinnon back? Cole, I'm going to let you lead us off here, buddy.
Yeah, so I did a 53-man roster projection immediately following mandatory minicamp. So that was like 5 weeks ago. And my hot take at the time was Jerick McKinnon will be a Kansas City Chief before the start of the season. Now, that was 5 weeks ago, and I will say every day that a camp practice rolls around and there's no news of him coming back, I am a little less confident that that happens. But my mindset behind that was just what you said. You've got Pacheco, you've got CEH, but then outside of that, I don't know. And McKinnon did have that injury at the end of the season, the core muscle surgery. I was actually surprised he was able to come back at the tail end of the postseason run there. But I was still hopeful / holding out that McKinnon, there may be mutual interest to bring a McKinnon return. My confidence is definitely lower. And here's the thing, if they don't bring him back, and that's because Deneric Prince or pick your poison there, Carson Steele, Keontae Ingram, any of those guys are really like climbing and rising, then that's fantastic to me. But I still am team bring back McKinnon if we are able. Maybe even if it's just for nostalgic times, and we owe him a touchdown in the Super Bowl when he had to slide down in the Eagles game. We owe him a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna get on. So first thing I gotta do, Cole. Okay, I apologize real quick, man. I'm gonna say what's up to everybody here in the chat. I just usually wrote everybody up: Kathy, Richard Hall, John Clifford, Brendan Pike, CJ, Melly Matrix. Rob Miller, appreciate it. Janae, Wendy, Andrea Chenault, our guy CJ. We call our people out just to see everybody, give them a what's up as they come out here. KC Colossal, and so. Harama Biv, traveling guy. So this is what I'll say about this. These guys over here singing because they missed their guy. That's their guy. We talk about three amigos. Jerick McKinnon is that other guy that we're missing, right? I mean, that's how this thing has been working for the past couple of years. And so he's been very successful. He's helped these guys develop. Pacheco and those guys. They looked up to Jerick McKinnon because he was the elder statesman in the room. He's been around the league to a lot of different places. And so when a guy has that wealth of knowledge, these guys, they really appreciate that. They really do. And they miss that. They missed having that voice in the locker room. And we've seen it. When I went to the games and I was watching him on the sidelines, he's part of that energy that Pop was getting. Pop was able to kind of really kind of eat off of that what Jerick McKinnon was doing. And he knew it was just okay to be who you wanted to be. And so McKinnon brought a lot of that to not just that position, but to the entire team. And so you could tell the guys, they miss him. I'm sure that they text him probably every single day and talk to him. And so McKinnon is probably at home saying, hey, look, man, I'm just waiting for a phone call. That's it. I'm sitting over here and I'm chilling. Until Brett and Andy decide they want to pull the trigger on me, I'm going to sit back. But, you guys, I miss you. I wish I was out there with you guys. I know how it is in training camp. I know what you're already going through. I'm sure they're giving him all the rundown, how guys are developing. My thing is with Jerick McKinnon, and I was kind of like you too, Cole. I thought the Chiefs were going to bring him back. If you're talking about a staple that is solid as a guy that you could possibly get on a football team, Jerick McKinnon is that guy. He really is. Because he has two unbelievable skill sets that's just value that any team could use. Number one is because of his elusiveness, able to see the holes, able to get, positive yards. He's a playmaker. We understand that. We've seen him time in and time out be able to come in and make plays. And number two, that I think I put him up in the echelon as probably one of the better blocking running backs. He is just absolutely phenomenal and exquisite at that. He really is. And so that's the part I think that they're going to miss the most. And that's part of the evaluation that they have to see. Because to be honest with you, as much as I love Denarius Prince, and look, Blaylock gave him the stamp of approval. When I'm talking to Derek Blaylock, Mookie for my guy, and he's telling me like this guy's a real deal, we had to listen. And so Denarius Prince has all those things about him. He's a great fill-in for Pacheco if he goes out. Same thing for CEH. We've seen how he's taking over the reps now. My question is, can he hold up blocking for pass protection, right? So when we sit there, we're talking about having a $45 million man behind you, okay? You got to block for him. You got to have everything tight that you possibly can, right? And so Jerick McKinnon was just so good at it that it was just unbelievable for me, being a blocker and stuff. I could appreciate it so much having a guy that could call everything out. He's helping the lineman. He makes the lineman right in a lot of ways, right? He tells guys learn how to chip, different guys. He's teaching guys how to run up in the hole. He could teach Lewis LRZ, go to take the air out of it when you're going through practice. And so what I hear Pacheco doing is echoing some of the things that Jerick McKinnon had just taught him. So the value is there with Jerick McKinnon, man. I don't know if he's going to come back or not, but we understand the value that Jerick McKinnon has, right? We understand that. Any of those guys might say, hey, look, maybe it's the time to let this young group start to develop, okay? We still got veteran guy in CEH, okay? And we said it on Monday. We were so hearing about him going through the PSD and stuff like that. Our hearts and our prayers go out to CEH, and hopefully he's be able to recover from that. But Denarius Prince, man, is a guy that I know we have a lot of faith in, but we just don't know as far as like how that works with Jerick McKinnon right now.
And with Denarius Prince, bringing him up here, we got a question from Sleepy Face. Sleepy Face, appreciate the contribution, brother. How do you guys feel about D-Rail filling in that CEH role and Clyde actually taking a back seat, considering what he is going through? What do you guys think about that? Obviously, CH is back at practice now, so it was just a couple day thing. But how do you guys? Do you guys think that not only is Denarius Prince going to leapfrog going from the third spot to the backup spot? Do you think that there's a real case there?
4 padded practices, 4 days of Denarius Prince getting reps immediately following Pacheco. You could take that a couple ways. You could take that as they really see him as the next guy here, and he's legitimately fighting for RB2, RB3 spot, or with CEH kind of going through the mental health stuff he's been battling with the PTSD, they're just giving Prince as many reps as humanly possible, like they did the last training camp, just to get get the reps, get the muscle, the juices going. It's interesting. They did use CEH a little bit last year when McKinnon got hurt. He kind of came in as a third down back. So part of me wonders if they're going to be potentially doing that this year, with CEH kind of doing that, and maybe Prince is kind of bearing the weight of the first and second down stuff with Pacheco when he needs a break. I also will say this: Pacheco was working with a wide receiver coach. I know we're going to talk about him a little bit more later, but he was working with Everett Wormley. He's a wide receiver coach, and I did message him saying I'm excited about Pacheco, and he said, yeah, he's looking great. The goal was to become an every down back with McKinnon gone, at least as of right now, gone. Hopefully they utilize that part of his game more. So I know we're going to talk about Pacheco more, but there's even opportunities for him to potentially be a little bit more of that pass protecting guy and catching stuff out of the backfield. So all that to say, I am very intrigued to see the direction they go. And we need some more camp practices and preseason games to figure it out for sure.
Yeah, I do believe, man, that Denarius Prince, coming into this role, I don't think CEH is worried about that right now. Okay, I think he understands, his role, and he was able to kind of really kind of sink into that place of knowing, okay, I might not have to be the second guy. But all three, and that's the thing about it, because they all had success last year, he was able to take a back seat to Jerick McKinnon. He was able to take a back seat to Pacheco. and there was no ego involved. And I think that's the great thing about this position is these guys all love playing together, okay? And they don't care who gets the glory. They don't care who's in there and who's able to eat. They're pushing for one another to go ahead and get that. So right now, man, because of, the PTSD and maybe taking a step back is secondary as far as like him thinking what his role is at this moment. I think more importantly, the guys in the room are just supporting him. He understands that everybody's around him, just, giving him the type of love that he needs, to be successful. But, as far as like, you was talking about Pacheco and what role he might be able to play. CEH, he's that guy. He's a guy that could come in and catch the ball out of the backfield. Like you said, he's at third down back. We seen flashes of it last year, like the one he caught in the end zone, the one he caught on the sideline and leaped over a guy. That's the CEH that we have. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I'm really optimistic about CEH and his role in this offense. I don't worry about as far as how that's going to filter in. And those guys are going to take care of it as far as snap-wise. I think CEH, he understands, like, look, I'm a part of this team. I bought in. I'm fine with this thing right now, wherever it goes with it, right? I think he's good with it, man. I really do.
Like we said before, I mean, CEH, that was his thing in college. I mean, he was an amazing pass catcher. They compared him to Brian Westbrook for a reason, and we just really never saw that. And it's still a great mystery to me why we haven't really seen that. We've seen flashes of it, and maybe this is the year they do utilize him in that McKinnon type role, at least for the pass catching standpoint.
Yeah. Well, okay. So Cole, let me ask. Okay, that's a good question. Cole, why do you think that is? Why do you have any, like, as far as any thoughts on why you believe that they hadn't necessarily, because everybody's talking about a first round pick. This is who this guy is, but it hasn't quite happened the way that we thought it was going to be coming out of college. Okay, I have my thought about it. What do you think about that, my brother?
Yeah, I think some of it with CEH is every time you draft somebody, you hope the college skill set translates to the pros, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going from college where you've got athletes, but then you get to the pros and they are all the best athletes that you're facing on the opposing team. They were the two best athletes you played against in scrimmage or in practice against your teammates. Like, all these guys are absolutely dogs. So I think some of it might just be a little bit of a athleticism thing, not fully carrying over. But yeah, there's also the aspect of, you think they would have given him maybe a bit more of a fair shake out of the backfield. And honestly, when he was healthy, he was good. And but I feel like he's hit that injury bug a couple years, and it's really affected his overall production. We saw it a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Then we saw it last year, those flashes of screen passes and doing stuff where he's able to use his legs to get the job done out of the backfield. And I think that's just some of it, maybe the translation from college to the pros, but then he got the unfortunate injury bug multiple seasons in a row.
Yeah. See, and I agree with you on that, because it's very frustrating for a guy who does have, a lot of, his ability and evaluation. He's supposed to be the guy. And then when you get injuries, man, that's frustrating, not just for the team, but for the guy in himself, right? It doesn't work out like you planned it. It's like, man, I'm coming in thinking I'm going to kill it. Next thing you know, I'm behind the 8 ball, okay? I'm losing this game, all right? I'm trying to get back. And then, of course, what you hear all the groans. You hear all the, oh, my gosh, he's a bust and all those different things. And that could weigh on a guy. That could really weigh on a dude and his production. As much as we tell guys, one snap and clear, leave it out, don't worry about these things, guys hear it. They do. They hear it. And so that's always I try to, tell people, like, give these guys a little bit of grace, man. These guys are human beings. They trying to understand this. The support that you give them and the love, that's where they work better with, right? And the team and those guys never really gave up on him. They wanted to give him space to, like, get better and find his way, right? And I think CEH, because it's like, I know I got this first round tag on me, but I got to grow into my own. Right? Same thing with Kadarius Toney. Is another guy, right? First round pick. Oh, you supposed to be this and that. And man, let it grow into his own, whatever it may look like. Okay, as long as you're helping the team, you're contributing to the team. I love guys like that. I do. I love guys like that. So, no, appreciate it.
And also, too, I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on for a second. The social media team is putting that video up there. Are they hinting at something? Do they know? Do they maybe possibly know that Jet McKinnon could be coming back? Is that, it's like a little little taste of something that could be brewing in the next week or so. I don't know. It's a weird thing for them to post. Them talking about a guy who's not on the team anymore. Like, Jet, we miss you. I don't know. Social media teams not in meetings with Brett Veach about that kind of stuff. But put tinfoil hat on. You go conspiracy theory there. I don't know.
Nah, I think it's just good TV. Those guys are always fun. You always be able to get a soundbite from them dudes anyway. So, they'll never let you down.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys hinted at Pacheco, so we're going to go to a little talking more about Pop. So Pacheco, it was revealed during minicamp that Pacheco had lost a good amount of weight heading into the season. Pacheco came into the NFL weighing about 216. His playing weight, which he says that he goes into every season, is about 210. Right now, he sits about 205, 206 is where he's sitting at right now. And if you watch videos of him, he looks very, very, very fast. Probably the most elusive I've seen him since he's been in the league. But it's got a lot of people talking, a lot of Chief fans talking about the way he runs, his running style, that bruising type of running style. Does this weight, being 205, the latest he's been in the NFL, does it concern you at all, especially with this kind of mystery and unknown spots that we have behind Pacheco right now, and also too CH, who's had injury problems himself? So there may be times we could be relying on Deneric Prince to step up and start a game. But are you guys concerned at all? Where do you guys stand on this whole weight issue for Pacheco here?
Well, I'll say this. We always had a weight that coaches wanted us to be at coming into camp. And so if Greg's okay with it, Andy's okay with it, and he's like, look, I feel fine with this weight. I'm going to try this out, coach, see what you think. I feel good as far as I'm still elusive. I can still get around, and I still feel tough. And the thing is, if you're building muscle and you're just leaning up, I don't think it's too much of an issue. So we're talking 10 pounds from where he was 215 and 205. Now, I know as a running back, that could be different, especially with having a shoulder injury too. It could be a little concerning. But I trust Pop. I trust him to know his body. I trust the coaches and everybody to have a conversation, say, hey, man, how do you feel? What do you think you're good at and playing at? Because they had a conversation with me. If I'm sitting there thinking, and I knew if I was lighter in the tail for particular things, maybe I just didn't feel like I was strong enough on particular point of blocks. But if I was a lot quicker getting in and out of breaks, I felt a little bit more lighter in the tail, so I could open up and outrun linebackers. So it's really just a feel for the player to get to where he's at. If Pop's okay with 205, I'm good with it. He likes it, I love it. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think with Pacheco, his violent running style is always a cause for concern, whether he's 5 to 7 pounds lighter or not. He had a couple surgeries, not this past offseason, but the one before. And I think that's one reason why we see him out there looking, he's just flying around. He had a full offseason. He's healthy. Sure, he's a few pounds lighter. I mean, I thought he was closer to 200. So that's I thought he was like Jamal Charles, like height and weight. And that's why I'm like, whoa, what are we doing here? Which could be a good thing. I was like, oh, what do we got cooking? But I'm excited for him. I'm not overly concerned about him losing a few pounds, but I do think his running style sets him up just for violence, and that can take a toll on your body too. One thing that I am curious about, if Deneric Prince is a guy actually getting some reps in there, he's 6 foot, 215. Mm-hmm. So he's about that weight that Pacheco was maybe before last year, or he said out of the combine, he was the heaviest he was, and he kind of slims down a little bit. Yeah. So I don't know if that's a sign of, hey, Prince could potentially help in some way, while Pacheco is used more in a variety of ways, from catching passes out of the backfield. Even he's entering his 3rd year, so pass protection. That's a little like assumptive of what could happen if Prince. I don't know what's going to happen there, but I'm not worried. I'm actually excited, man. Pacheco is Charles Goldman at practice today. He's with A to Z Sports, and he said, hey, the reports are true. Pacheco is moving way faster. He still runs angry, but he's moving way faster, and I think that's exciting. Another explosive playmaker as far as speed is concerned in the Chiefs' offense.
And you really had to evaluate, man, that, look, our body is our weapon, okay? This is our tool, is our bodies. And if Pacheco's thinking, if I lose another 5 pounds here, we're talking about still running violent, but elusive. Like, it's just that much more that you need to outrun a linebacker or safety, okay, or avoid a hit. So he may not be looking to get hit flush in anything, right? And so he knows being lighter may make him just a little bit more, like I said, more elusive and getting away from folks. So I think it's what he's thinking in his head. He's evaluating that. The physicality of the game, I don't think, is going to change for him whatsoever. It's not. But he's looking to run more touchdowns. He's looking to run away from some folks. So, yeah, 205, if that's where he's at and he feels that way, shoot. Yeah, he knows that. He knows that.
Yeah, his speed, I mean, just looking at the videos, it really has popped off the screen. No pun intended there. It's popped off his how fast he looks. But and it does kind of tie back to what you were saying, Cole, about the receiving aspect of his game. And if that is going to be something, he's going to be more of a pass catcher out of the backfield. I mean, you said, he was working with a wide receiver coach this offseason. You slim down a little bit, you become more of an asset as more of this pass catcher out of the backfield. And it could be very well that we might see him more so than we ever have before, especially if he's losing a little bit of weight, to be out there for pass catching downs. I mean, and he was averaging about like 2 to 3 catches a game anyway. So we're talking about doing this more so this year. I mean, he could be for a really good fantasy year at the very least. If you guys play fantasy sports, I think Pacheco's your guy this year. And talking PPR leagues and everything, I really could see him blowing up this year, especially if he's going to be this passing down guy.
And I still think if he's healthy, he's getting 1,000 yards rushing. I still think that's a very real possibility. He almost did it last year, and that was resting a week. And I don't remember due to injury if he played every single game or not. I think he played most of them, but he was right there at 1,000 yards. I still think that's very possible, even if he's getting a couple hundred more yards in the pass game. I mean, the Chiefs run the ball at like the 27th, 28th percent least in the NFL if you compare the percentage of pass plays ran to run plays. But that does give you light boxes, and Pacheco can, in theory, take advantage of that too. So some of it on RPOs, maybe Mahomes will just opt to hand it off more than pass it. You never know.
Well, we hope he does that. So it's my nephew right here said he needs to learn how to roll with a hit better and sometimes hit the sideline. Yeah, and that saves you. It saves you from, like you said, those extra hits on you that you really don't need. Because guys are going to take cheap shots. They will. And I know every defensive player, they won't say it, but if they can knock you out of the game, putting a little bump on you, they're going to do it. If you're close to the sideline, Jimmy Ray used to say this all the time, you better get violent. Get violent on the sideline. Always protect yourself. Always protect yourself. So I think, yeah, like my nephew saying here, said learn how to roll with a hit better and sometimes hit the sideline. So we'll have to see, man. We'll see how his knee drive is going to be. Getting out there, maybe the Roger Craig look, something like that. So we'll have to see.
Hey, Cole, we have I don't know if he goes on your live streams at all. Our guy Newt Rockney here. Big time LRZ fan. This guy will go to bat for LRZ. We're not going to talk about LRZ. He's going to bring him up in the conversation. What is your thought so far on training camp? What are your thoughts on LRZ so far from what you've seen? Obviously, we saw him doing some pass protection reps the other day. We broke it down on our show on Monday. Obviously, a guy who, for the first time, is playing football. I mean, it's what it looks like. What are your thoughts on him? Do you think he makes the team? Where do you stand right now with LRZ?
Yeah, my last projection back in June, I was like, we need to see him when the pads come on first, so I didn't have him on there. Just like, hey, let's see how he looks when the pads come on. And so far, I mean, he's working, and everyone's complimenting his work ethic, saying like, hey, if he doesn't understand what to do or he makes a mistake, he's really aiming to fix that. But you're really talking about a guy who is a high-profile athlete, very fast, very quick, but he's played basically 4 days of padded football in his entire life. So if he is able to earn that roster spot, I do think it's like RB4, super niche role on offense, and he just really pops off in the return game. I still am not sure. I feel like he would really benefit from a year on the practice squad with the Chiefs. I understand they didn't put the international pathway player exemption on him, so if he does not make the roster, he would have to clear waivers and he could get scooped up by somebody else. So you could make a case like, hey, the Chiefs may put him on the 53 to kind of protect him. They've done that before. But I really think he would benefit a year in the Chiefs system, just going through the reps and just soaking up football knowledge. But that's kind of where I am. I don't know where he makes the roster at this point in time. If you're going to say it's down between somebody like LRZ and Nico Remigio, a guy that not only could do punts, kick returns as well. So punt return, kick return, and then he could also be used as a depth piece on offense in case injuries hit. Where LRZ, he's not really there yet.
Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you what, I have a thought on as far as if he makes the practice squad. If you put him on the practice squad, I don't believe a team will scoop him up just because he's he's so much of a project. The only way you would do it is to try to bring some type of, obviously some light to your team. You're trying to get a little bit more, the hype, money. That's what it would be. Okay. Because we've had rugby guys play before. The dude from Buffalo, he was on the roster last year, at least got cut, ended up getting cut. So he wasn't on there. He has to have like inherent value to what you bring to the team. We know he can do it special teams wise, but he has a long way to learn from the running back position. That's just the reality of it. I said, man, it's hard for guys who's been doing it for years. I've seen some of the best guys may not get the blocking down as far as in pass protection. Same thing, like understanding your eyes in a hole. I heard John Riggins. I was watching the other night, and he was talking about one of your greatest attribute as a running back is your eyes. It's your eyes. If you can't see the vision of holes and know how formation and blocking schemes work, it's very difficult. It's something brand new to you. It's just something brand new. And so he hasn't necessarily seen it before. He's seen rugby and how they do from air, and you pitch, you got a little bit open more space. Totally different when you come into the NFL with the blocking scheme. That's why I always wanted to, kind of make the point that we got to have a little bit of respect for these guys that play in the NFL. I don't think people understand, like, it's just an easy transition to come from. I guess you're an elite guy. I get it. Michael Jordan was the best athlete in the world. Couldn't hit a baseball to save his life. Couldn't do it. I don't care how many balls you threw to Jordan. He wasn't going to knock one out. Sorry. So, and I'm not saying that LRC is, doing by no measure, right? I'm not saying that. But I am saying that this is going to take some time, and, stash him on the practice squad may help him out, right? And like you said, we might bring him up mid-season, okay? Let's just say, okay, we sit him there. Mid-season, he gets good where he needs to be, bring him back up, okay? Like you said, RB4, if that's the way that you want to go. But I don't think teams just going to go ahead and just scoop him up. Oh, LRZ, well, let's go get the rugby guy. Oh, why? You want to go get a project of a dude and you're trying to win? You're trying to beat the Chiefs. Is that the guy that you're going to take to beat and win with the Chiefs? That's the question I had to ask. So that's why I am with it. So,
well, then think about last year, Deneric Prince, who is having a great year too, but he had a lot of hype heading into preseason, and he even struggled with aspects of the run game, from pass protection to hitting the right hole. And this guy has been playing for years. So it's tough. It's a very tough thing to do for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deneric Prince, I mean, he got overtaken by Michael Pirine. And it was Prince all offseason mini camp, and then we get to like the second week of preseason, and Michael Pirine leapfrogs him, has a blow up game in that week 3 preseason, and that was it. We never heard from Prince again. And now, I mean, look, a year under his belt though. It took him a year, to your point. Even took him a year. The guy's been playing for his whole life to kind of get some of the nuances down, the pass protection aspect. I mean, there's a lot of things, and I think a lot of people. And I get it. Everyone was excited about the LRZ thing. It's not over yet, guys. I'm not saying it's
no.
Look, a lot of people are excited about it for good reason. The highest grossing jersey in Europe, and that also too, JD. I think a team, if we were release them, this is my theory on that. Let's say a team like the Carolina Panthers, they got nothing to lose. I mean, obviously, every team thinks they're going to win the Super Bowl, but Panthers, they'll bring in LRZ. They can sell jerseys. I mean, come on, they're not selling anything right now.
But this what it is? It's about selling jerseys. I think it's about winning. It's what it boils down to, right?
Realistically, though, I know everyone thinks they have a chance to win the Super Bowl week 1 of the season, but Carolina,
Look, no disrespect. I don't know how many people's flying from Wales to come over here and watch the Panthers play. Okay, I'm just, I'm saying you can watch it on TV, go look at the Panthers and stuff. Jersey wise, you can go ahead and do that, get a little revenue. I get that part of it. Okay, I really do. But the thing is, it's all about winning here in the NFL. Bottom line, that's it. The Chiefs are the standard, and so we have the guy that we feel like we can develop because we do have the type of talent. We are the team that's on top that everybody's trying to chase us. He's walked into probably the best situation you could possibly be in, right? being with the Kansas City Chiefs. And so I think any of those guys going to have a lot of patience with a guy like this. And I think he loves being here with the Kansas City Chiefs. So my thing is, man, look, we are big supporters of LRZ. If he's able to get it, let's say tomorrow he turns on and all of a sudden, man, he turns into Bo Jackson. Okay? I'm all for it. Hey, I'm right here. I'm number one behind it, right? But more right now, I done said it. Well done, LRZ, are getting better. I just want you to keep progressing, okay? As slow as it may be, whatever it might look like, I'm still a big supporter of LRZ. So,
100%.
And we're still rooting for him. So,
yeah.
We're having an open conversation, but I know we're going to get some of our friends across the pond. I'm not going to be happy about, just kind of the realness behind this. But I mean, we said from the get-go, JD, that it was going to be a hard time. It's going to be hard for him to get it. I mean, it's his first time playing football against guys who've been playing it for their whole life. I mean, that's how it is, but all right. So now we're going to go from one story to another, another kind of comeback, feel-good story. It's Justyn Ross. And everyone knows this channel is a big Justyn Ross channel. So we're going to dive into the wide receiver room battle. So Justyn Ross has been a guy that JD and I have stood on the table for the last 2 years for Justyn Ross. And we've also talked about him possibly just utilizing the guy, especially in the red zone. Like we said with Josh Gordon, it didn't happen. We were hoping last year was going to happen with Justyn Ross. It seemed like his reps were getting more and more and more until, this off the field stuff happened. But nonetheless, he's back on the team. But many believe he's on the bubble with how deep the Chiefs are at the wide receiver position. You guys mentioned Nico, Remigio. But we've recently seen Justyn Ross getting a lot more snaps with the ones. Hollywood Brown was out the other day. It was Ross was out there with Rice and Xavier Worthy. Even more notable, this is about the 2 days ago report. Justyn Ross skeptic, Airhead Pride's Pete Sweeney made mention that how much action Ross was getting with the ones, and he was getting a lot of targets from Patrick Mahomes. So there could be for your rosters out there, for a lot of the Justyn Ross truthers out there, it could be some confidence going into the coming weeks here. But my question to you guys is, how confident should the rosters feel about Justyn Ross making this team after the amount of first team reps he's got over the last few days, albeit with Hollywood Brown being out and Justin Watson being out?
Go ahead, Cole.
Yeah, sure. Justyn Ross, man, I'm always rooting for an underdog. It's just, I think it's why I love the wide receiver battle. Like, I'm also rooting for Nico, Remigio, Montrell Washington out here making play after play after play. That guy's not dropping passes. He's intriguing too. The bottom of this roster, you love a story of a guy who earns his way up, works his way up, and fights to earn himself a spot on the roster. Now, where Ross has a bit of an advantage here is he made the roster last year, and he was maybe starting to get in more of a groove. Then he gets suspended, and I think that just throws everything else out of the water for the rest of the season. I will say I did have an interview with Ron Kopp he's the lead analyst of Arrowhead Pride, and I just said, hey, how's Justyn Ross looking? How's the receiver room looking? He attended all 3 practices in pads. He said so far Ross is maybe making less splash plays. He's still making some opportunities happen. He's still coming down with the ball here and there. And with Justyn Ross, with his height, he's the only receiver on the roster that's a bigger bodied guy. He's about 6'4", red zone guy. You think like a guy to bring out niche packages like Jody Fortson, who he's with the Dolphins now, so best of luck to him. But now I'm kind of curious, what are they going to do with Justyn Ross when you're looking at the wide receiver 5-6 spot and the needs you need to fill as a depth piece on offense, yes, but in the return game. And then if you've got other red zone targets like Travis Kelce and then now Jared Wiley, could that kind of be your guy? And is Ross on the outside looking in? I'm not sure. I will say I also had an interview with Seth Kaiser, who, if you're familiar with him at all, big in the Chiefs Kingdom space. He studied a lot of Ross's film last year, and he did struggle with getting separation on his routes. Where he may thrive is the jump ball, the 50-50 stuff, but I just feel like the Chiefs that's not their cup of tea. Mahomes wants to throw it to the open receiver. They scheme the receiver open. But yeah, I'm very intrigued to see, man. It's going to be a tough battle when you're looking at if they go with 6 receivers and you've got maybe Sky, Tony, Remigio, and Justyn Ross all fighting for that last spot.
Yeah, so my evaluation of Justyn Ross, and I'm like you, Marcus. Marcus actually brought me over to this, Cole. Okay, I like Justyn Ross. I thought he was a long shot making the roster last year. But the more I start seeing him, and I've seen his skill set, and my thing was just the whole medical process. Is he going to remain healthy? Is something going to come back up? With his back and those, I didn't know. I didn't quite know. Right? It's like the uncertainty. But when Embry is talking about this guy has a skill set that nobody else in the room has, that says something. It says something to me. And I think the Chiefs understand that because they were like, look, this guy deserves a position here. We let him play. And so when he came into the game, they threw him a couple of back shoulder throws, a couple of balls up over the top. So they know they have an ability about him. My thing is, when I'm checking and I'm evaluating, I've just been thinking about this for the past couple of days, actually. What we do well, Patrick, in our offense, like you said, he throw guys open. But we run a lot of scramble drill, okay? That's what I call it. Like guys, trying to get open. He's creating plays with his legs. And then all of a sudden, defenses break down. He looks for an open guy. Justyn Ross gives him a guy that can go up and just go get it. Like you said, the 50-50 ball. I'm going to be that guy. He has another year under his belt to learn this offense where he can get open. Now, I know you said you talked to those guys. I haven't seen anything. I haven't been to practice, see any of those things. But I know the Chiefs understand, like, this guy right here is a weapon for us. Anytime Patrick gets in a situation and a problem, look for Justyn Ross. I know he's sitting there thinking in his mind, this is a guy that can make a play for me. And every quarterback loves to have a guy like that, right? I mean, you can start looking at, T. Higgins and like body types of guys that can go up and go play and make plays. Justyn Ross is that guy for us. He really is. Now, Rashee Rice is what I'm sitting there saying we should obviously try to make him transition into that player because I do believe he's an outside guy that you need to throw more to him doing things like that, right? So, but Justyn Ross is he's a special talent. He really is. I've always wanted, me and Marcus both wanted a big receiver that you throw the ball up to. Like you said, Jody Forrest, and man, what that would have looked like. Now Justyn Ross is a guy for me, okay? And he's been taking reps. And I want people to kind of get away from this. Andy and those guys are going to give guys opportunities for Patrick to throw to everybody. He's going to put Sky Moore in with the ones. He's going to put Justyn Ross in with the ones. He's going to put Justin Watson in with the ones. Remigio in with the ones. They're going to make sure guys are getting the necessary opportunities with the number one quarterback in the league to see what the offense is going to look like. Okay? So sometimes when we sitting there looking like, oh, man, well, how's this evaluation working? Any of those guys are not thinking that. They're not just all one day say, oh, well, he's on top now. They're not doing that. They still got plenty of time for this evaluation. And so he may not look the same with Carson Wentz or Book and all those different guys than with Patrick Mahomes. So that's why I say, man, I'm a big Justyn Ross believer. He's got a skill set, man, a lot of guys on the team don't have. I don't think, well, we could say he's a bubble guy. I think he is. I think, and I said this, Cole, there's guys that I know for a lock. Like Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, and everybody else is French players. McCole Hardman's probably going to be there. I think Kadarius Toney is another guy that's going to be there. And after that, those five, then you can kind of mix and see what everybody else is going to be. I really do. I do believe they're going to carry 7 wide receivers on the roster this year, though, just because we trying to play fast. We trying to throw the ball down the field. So, is it going to make the 53? I think so.
I'm a little higher, too, on Justin Watson. He was 3rd in receiving yards last year. He's on the last year of his deal. You can move on from him without a big financial repercussion, but I kind of have him as a lock as like wide receiver 4. I just feel like he's a guy that's consistently shown he can make plays for Mahomes. And in a pinch, he can return punts. He's done that before when we're like, please don't let Sky do it after Tony and McCole got hurt. But yeah, so there's Justin Watson as well that I'm intrigued to see in that mix too. And that's what makes this so exciting, man. Camp, you never know who's going to get the reps. Sky Moore, he's been getting a lot more first-team reps with both Justin Watson out with the foot and then now Tony with the ankle. Sky's been getting even more reps, and he's a guy that I'm like, I don't know what to do with him at this point in time either.
Oh, really? So you mean the Chiefs ain't cut him yet? Like everybody's thinking, like they want to get rid of him? Think he's actually going with the ones? I'm
2
just
years left on that rookie deal, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
man.
I mean, I do think if he doesn't show up at camp, you know, and some of these guys like really overtake him, he could be in danger of maybe being traded or not making it. But I do think the Chiefs want to give him every single opportunity they can. You've got a guy with 2 years left on his rookie deal, a second-round pick that you invested in.
Yes.
Some people want him gone now. I do think he's in danger of being gone soon if he doesn't really show up at camp. But again, we see the crack of the curtain, right? As fans, we're not inside looking at all the meetings, and the coaches are watching the film on all the practices and doing all that. And I mean, JD, you know more than any of us of how that goes behind the scenes, but we're only seeing a piece of it at camp.
Yeah, yeah. And a guy like Sky Moore, we were talking about this last week, man. He does little things well in games that people just don't evaluate. They don't give him a check or attaboy at when he's going down blocking for guys, you know, maybe running the right route or you know, because even running the right route gets somebody else open. And we got to evaluate that too. And so it's the full scope of things. You absolutely right. When these guys are in here talking as coaches, it's a whole different conversation. And to be honest with you, I didn't know how the conversation was going in until I actually got in the room. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is how you talking about guys? This is the conversation. It's like, yeah, this is how this really works. So what we may think is better for the team, Andy and those guys they're gonna do what they want to do. They're gonna feel like it's best for the entire scope of the team to win a championship, right? That's the full evaluation of it.
And I will say with that, I guess the argument for keeping 7 receivers, because I've seen a lot of people were saying 6 receivers. I mean, I think this week or just over last week, it tells you all you need to know. I mean, Watson getting hurt, Tony getting hurt, Hollywood Brown's got a history of injury. Our first-round pick, Xavier Worthy, although he played all throughout college, he's been banged up since he came to the league with a hamstring, being sick. So, like, that's a lot of guys who are injured in that room. I mean, it makes the argument for keeping 7 guys around. And then kind of what you guys kind of laid it out, where it's a little bit of a redundancy with the amount of small guys we have. There's a little bit of redundancy in talent. Ross is kind of in his own class, in his own kind of weight class comparatively to everybody else in the receiving room. So I don't know. I think we're going to see it's going to be an interesting battle towards the end of that wide receiver room. And JD, how much of it is it going to be where, you know, obviously Sky Moore looks great in practice. Let me just give you an example. Sky Moore looks great in practice. Justyn Ross comes out there week 1 of preseason with the 2 group with Carson Wentz. He dominates, but he may be kind of mediocre in practice comparatively to Sky Moore. But when it came to preseason games, he's actually dominating.
Yeah.
Where do coaches weigh that? How good in practice or how good you are in a preseason game?
Look, they're going to value everything, and what they're looking for is consistency. Okay, it's a guy that understands the entire offense, and so I can't just look at you doing it well in practice and then it don't translate to the field, you know, on game day, and same vice versa. Is, you know, if I'm sitting over here and you're doing everything great in practice, but in the game you're dropping everything because I'm just like, man, maybe are you pressing too much? Are you worried too much about the lights and what everybody's thinking about you? So they got to do full scope on this, man. They really do. And so, and like I said this before, you may look great with Carson Wentz, okay? You're going against the second team defense, so you should be lighting it up, okay? Guy comes in with the second defense, and he's got 4 catches for 180 yards and 2 tubs. Well, you could look over on the other side, man, and you're looking at Surtain. It might be a whole different dude that you're going against. So that's what I'm talking about as far as like the full evaluation, man. You just don't really know. And I say this more about the consistency that you're looking for a guy to do it both in practice and in the game.
Yeah, and 100%. I know people like to say that I think one of our followers came in the other day and said that Mahomes doesn't like throwing to Justyn Ross. Not the case at all. Ross had limited snap counts last year, and in those games where Ross came in, Mahomes was looking his way a good amount for the amount of snaps, like 8 snaps in a game, and the guy's getting 2 targets. I mean, it's pretty good, I would say, as far as ratio there. But yeah, so Mahomes obviously trusts the guy. So
Cole, man. All right, brother.
Yeah.
Here it is. Put you on the spot. I don't know if it's on the spot for you. I asked Marcus, and Marcus has, you know, flipped and flopped and did all. Who is your 7 guys? We got 7 wide receivers. Who's your top 7 right now making a roster?
Yeah, it's a little complex just because at least right now, I think Rice will not be suspended. But I was going off a lot of the offseason thinking, okay, if he is suspended, that kind of changes the pecking order and makes like the bottom of that a little bit easier. But 7, I mean, so I would have the 5 right now. If let's say they're rolling with 7, I am wondering if they do go with 6, only because I have a suspicion that they may roll with 4 tight ends. That's Noah Gray, Jared Wiley, Kelsey, and Irv Smith Jr. Could totally be wrong there, but if you roll with 7, so you've got Rice, you've got Hollywood, you've got Worthy, Justin Watson, and McCole. So now you've got those 4 guys fighting for the last 2 spots.
Yes.
Nico, Tony, Sky, Montrell.
Who's your 2, brother? Come on, now.
At this, like right this second.
And it's not hating on anybody else. You know, it's nothing like that.
I'm processing through it. I mean, right at this very second, I think I'm doing an elimination right now. I'm going to throw Tony on there.
Okay.
That's assuming he's healthy, the injury, the ankle thing's not serious, and they think Tony is motivated enough on a contract year to really show up and show out to try to get another deal somewhere else this offseason. I'm going to go with Tony, and then here's my thing. If you have Tony, you then have McCole Hardman. Those are 2 solid returners. Worthy can do it as well. You could easily make the case for Justyn Ross as number 7. If they go with 6, I have more trouble probably putting Ross on there. But if they go with 7, I think he could be that guy that's right there. He's already made the roster. He's got the reps. He's a unique guy that is unlike Worthy 5'11", Hollywood 5'9", McCole 5'10". I mean, he's got that unique skill set that you guys talked about. So if they do go with 7, I think Ross's chances are definitely higher for sure.
Okay, good. All right. We were calculating. I was getting on Marks a little bit because he was doing a whole lot of context here. And well, if they have, no, like I want to hear your 7. What you think? You know, just kind of cut and dry, straight to the point. But
I gotta set it up sometimes.
Yeah, brother. I get it. I understand. It's one of those tough things, right? And you're going to validate or justify a guy being on that roster, but that's kind of the thing we were talking about too. Like, you made a great point. So the redundancy of like the same body types, like why do you want to carry the same body types into the game? Why have 7 guys the same size and all that when you have a couple of guys that might be a little bit bigger that could help you on special teams? If it's the same thing, like you said, why carry 4 returners? What's the point of doing that, right? So if you're doing an evaluation and it starts getting crowded in the room, what you want to do offensively, then some guys can just be eliminated because it is, you've got the same body type. Guys can do the same thing. So
chat is also pointing out in that list, I did not include Sky. I was kind of just a brain fart more than anything. I mean, Sky, he's really got to show up and show out at camp and preseason. I'm happy to have him on the roster. I just, right now, he's a big question mark to me. If I had to choose, my initial 53 5 weeks ago was Sky and Tony making the end of the roster there.
Okay.
Is how it was looking, but it still depends on their camp performances in preseason. I don't think either of them are completely safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
And KT being injured, that doesn't really right now. It doesn't help his case right now. Hopefully he's all right. Just want to make a few shout outs here. We got a question from Rob Miller and a contribution to the chat. Appreciate you, brother. So can you call Patrick Mahomes the GOAT if he three-peats, or does he need to win 5 to 6 titles to close the gap between him and Tom Brady? A GOAT conversation. Love the GOAT. Well, love the GOAT debate. It's endless.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I would say that he is the GOAT, or at least he's right at his heels. I would say maybe winning this one and another one would definitely put him in the GOAT category. If he just wins this one, Tom is still have one above him, a couple more above him. But if you're measuring the two, Tom still gets it just because he went to Tampa Bay and won another one too, right? We understand that. But he's had a great defense. They could say, well, Patrick did it, his ability, the difficulty was higher for him. So, I think he's right there in the GOAT conversation for sure.
Cole, your thoughts?
I mean, definitely the greatest 6 to 7 year stretch of a career by far. It's not close. I did a YouTube short comparing the first 7 years of Brady to Mahomes. A lot of Patriots fans were very upset by that, but the facts are the facts. It's not close. Now, when you're talking longevity, the goal is Mahomes stays healthy and plays another 10, 12 years, wins a couple more. But even right now, if he wins that three-peat, I mean, that gives him 4 rings.
Yeah.
You can make a case right now that Joe Montana's he's the greatest of all time. Like, there's people that legitimately make that case over Brady. I don't know if I would personally make that case, but you can make a legitimate argument that a guy with 4 rings, he went 4 for 4, is the greatest of all time over Brady because of the controversy that came with some of his wins.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna throw. I don't know if I'm gonna throw Mahomes in the greatest of all time if he three-peats just right now, because he's still writing his story. He might continue making a case over the next 10 years, and he blows everybody out of the water, and there's no debate in any way, shape, or form of any metric.
Yeah.
So there you have it. There you have it, guys. And to give a shout out to our guy Charles Driver. Being in the hospital sucks, but Marcus, JD, and Cole together makes me feel so much better. Charles, we're glad you're liking the show tonight, man. And our heart goes out to you, brother. I hope everything is well with you, man.
Absolutely. Get better, my brother. Get better.
All right, so we're going to go to our final topic tonight of this great, beautiful Chiefs Kingdom collaboration tonight with How About the Chiefs and Chief Concerns. Okay, so final topic, obviously, left tackle was a spot that everyone was very, concerned about, I would say, and no pun intended again, concerned about the left tackle spot, and obviously we drafted Kingsley Suamataia. And this offseason, we've had a competition between Wanya Morris and Kingsley. However, since the pads have come on, it's been Kingsley's spot with the ones. And during the non-padded practices, you've had a little bit of a rotation there with Wanya. But since the pads have come on, it's been Kingsley's spot, the left tackle position. So I got to ask you guys, is this competition over? Or is it not done yet until we get to preseason gameplay to see how Kingsley does versus how Wanya Morris does? Is it over in your eyes?
No. It's not over, not even in the slightest. And so you got to realize it's the same thing we talked about the wide receivers. Andy's going to put these guys in and give them every opportunity to win the job out. And so when you're doing these evaluations, you're going to be going against, the defensive ends, obviously, King Felix and those guys are going to be coming at you each and every time. When you're lined up, and we see Morris, when he played last year, he did a great job until he ran into the buzzsaw of the Raiders and those guys who are elite pass rushers. And so we got to realize that's what Kingsley, that's his evaluation. What we looking at. So it's all about trust. It is all about trust from the coaches, and it's about consistency. Because make no mistake about it, you can't have a brain fart and let somebody tattoo Patrick Mahomes from the backside. You just can't let that happen. And I know Patrick's a magical guy. He's an escape artist. But if you have him running around for his life because our left tackle is a little shaky, I don't care who it is. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be any guy. That's a problem. That's a problem. So this is going to be a full evaluation through preseason, even probably the first couple of games, Marcus, to see exactly what he's going to be looking like. So it's going to be Kingsley and Morris. I might even, I'm just going to leave that alone. It's between Kingsley and Morris. I do believe that they're going to give these guys the chance and opportunity to win it out all the way up into the very first game, maybe even to the second game of the season.
Yeah, and I think with Wanya as well, they kind of, at least to an extent, they know what they have in him. He's been on the roster for a year. He played 4-ish games in the regular season when Donovan Smith was hurt. So why not give Kingsley as many first-team reps as possible out the gate here since the pads have come on? You could see it as purely just that. I think there's a little bit more to it than that. I think the Chiefs are going to give Kingsley every opportunity to maintain the starting left tackle role, and it's basically his to lose. But at the same time, why not give the rookie all the first team reps and let him get sharpened as fast as possible going against Dana or Karlaftis or Chris Jones if he kicks outside. Like, why not let your rookie go through the buzzsaw of those guys before just what JD said, you're going to have to go through the buzzsaw of the Raiders or others. It's interesting to me, like they've been rotating in Wanye on the non-padded practices. And then when the pads come on, it's just Kingsley, all with the one. So that's intriguing. I'll be curious to see how it plays out rest of camp preseason. But to answer your question, I don't think the battle's over, but I do think the Chiefs are going to give Kingsley every opportunity to hold on to the starting spot at this point in time. JD was going to maybe mention the thought of bringing in a veteran. And if they aren't happy enough here down the road, I think sooner rather than later, you'd have to pull the trigger. Donovan Smith would, in theory, make sense because he's a guy you could bring in late that already knows the system. But maybe this year it's like, man, Donovan Smith would maybe only be a one-year Band-Aid. Why not rip that off and let Kingsley just get a year in the system and go through those growing pains now?
Yeah, but see, that's the danger of it, right? Let him go through the growing pains, and that's a spot that you can't go through the growing pains, man. When you're trying to do a three-peat, and you got Patrick Mahomes behind you, okay? I just, like you said, if this is the Panthers or somebody, hey, okay, sure. Like, hey, let it go through the growing pains. We're 3 or 4 to 5 years away from even being contenders, but everything rests solely on Patrick Mahomes being our quarterback for a legitimate shot at this three-peat. Let's just be honest.
Piece,
yeah.
Sorry to cut you off there.
No, go ahead.
A big piece of the O-line, too, is can Joe Thuney come back to complete 100% form? Best pass-blocking guard in football per PFF the last 3 years in a row. Every guard in the NFL, you can take PFF for what you want, but you can use some of their metrics, but highest pass-blocking grade of any guard in the NFL 3 years in a row. So if Joe Thuney's back and truly 100% from that pec injury, I think you can maybe take a little bit more of a chance there with the rookie left tackle. But if they're like, I don't know if Thuney's going to hold up, and then so you've got somebody filling in like Norzad, or who else have they had over there at left guard right now? Is it Caliendo? Like,
McCabe.
Those are two guys. Say it again.
McCabe, Mature.
And then CJ Hansen maybe a little bit too.
Hansen, yeah, been out there.
But I mean, if you're gonna, I don't know if you want to take a risk on 2 potential question marks on the left side. So hopefully Thuney is 100% good to go, and I think that helps Kingsley's case a little bit, or Wanye, whoever wins it.
Yeah, and Thuney definitely coming back helps, no doubt about it. I would even say in a pinch, because we've seen Thuney move all the way out there to the left.
He's done it.
He's done it. If he comes in, it's like, hey, man, look, we'll let somebody else play guard because we know we got Creed right there, and there's somebody who's able to do left guard with us. Move Creed out if it comes down to a pinch, and he's got all these guys are not looking good. Put Thuney out there, okay? He's a consummate pro, man. He could get the job done, and we've seen it against the best. So, yeah, I and you're right, Cole. I was going to saying, man, it could it be a, seriously, could you think about bringing a guy in? And so, is your boy still out there, Marcus?
Bakhtiari?
Yeah, is he still?
He's still out there.
Oh, so I know he said he wanted to play for a championship team, right?
No.
So,
I will say this. And talking about ripping the Band-Aid off and just kind of going with our guy, a second-round pick, who we think is going to be the future left tackle. I mean, let's be honest, and this may be controversial to some, but Orlando Brown Jr., solid left tackle. He wasn't the best by any means, but he was solid. He was serviceable for us. Eric Fisher was another solid guy. Donovan Smith was solid. I mean, we haven't had it's not like we're going from what's his name? The 49ers left tackle, Trent Williams. We're not going from Trent Williams to a rookie. We're going from solid guys to a rookie. So it's not like, I'm not saying it's going to be that big of a drop-off, is my point. We go with Kings. I don't think it's going to be that big of a drop-off from what we had last year or in years past. That's my kind of thing. I think people are kind of overplaying the whole, we're going to start a rookie. We're going to start Wanye. He didn't look good last year. It's like, well, I mean, Wanya was good enough for
enough.
a good part of that season last year. And yeah, I think Kingsley's got a bigger ceiling than Wanya? Yeah, sure. He's a second round pick. Yeah, 100%. I think he was a left tackle in college. Wanya kind of moved around the offensive line in college. He didn't really have a position. We're trying to make him a left tackle last year, but I think Kingsley kind of has more of a ceiling. So it's like, you know what? Let's throw the guy out there.
I hear you. Look, I got you. Wanya's a third round pick, so that's another pick. That's just another round after him. So it ain't like he's chopped liver, and we've seen him play well. Like I said, we've seen him. He's shown that, and I think Cole, that goes to the point you were saying. The reason they're giving Wanya the reps without the pads on is because they've seen him in pads before, right? His is just technique. Now this is getting your hands together, doing all those things, the kick step. Can you anchor down, with these pads? That's fundamentals for him, okay? Kingsley is the live ball, okay? Now it's coming from BYU, playing against Sister Mary of the poor, right, to playing against these guys in the NFL, okay? And I know somebody said, Andy Reid went in and got him himself. He did. We know he sounded. We know that. But all that still remains to be seen. It does. So,
any reason why they would have Wanya only rotating in with the non-padded practices versus the full padded practices? JD, do you think it's weird at all or no?
No, like I just said, I think because they've seen Wanya in pads before, right? They know what he can give. He's an aggressive guy. We know he comes out, he hits guys hard. That's no question with Wanya, not at all. His is when I'm sitting there evaluating them doing pass protection, and I've seen coaches working with him. It's all fundamentals. And I've seen they trying to get his steps down. I've seen him trying to get their hands down. And I said, okay, that's very telling right there, because it is about being fundamentally sound in the NFL. And that's the reason he got beat, is because he wasn't fundamentally sound. That's it. And if you lag on the inside, like you said, and having a Joe Tooney right there on the inside helps tremendously. Okay. But if you got to hold up yourself, we got to make sure that you got to be the guy that's going to be able to hold up for the entire game. So I think that's what it is, to be honest.
So I just before we leave the show tonight, are you guys willing to bet that Kingsley will be the week 1 starting left tackle? Or are you gonna bet that right now? Or if you had to make a bet right now, who are you taking, Wanya or Kingsley the left tackle right now for week 1?
If I would say Kingsley, yeah. Personally, sorry, JD, I beat you to the punch.
No, go ahead, brother.
I had him on the 53 back in June, and I don't think as of right now I'm going to move him. I do think it's his job to lose. You could see him. Somebody just left it in the comments. You could see him. He's athletic, and you could develop the guy, give him as many reps as humanly possible. Now that end around to Worthy, where Kingsley kicked out and was the lead blocker, bro, that guy was flying. I was like, wow. So I think it's his job to lose right now. I am going to put him there. I don't know that I'm going to bet my house on it, but I would put some money down.
I'm putting my money on the guy who wins this thing out. That's what I'm going to put it on. So
I'm
going to leave it at that. That's what I'm leaving it at, man. Because it's just that wide open. I'm telling you right now, it's just that wide open. And so I don't think you can pencil anybody in this position. This guy's got to win it out. And if you're getting beat in practice and you're getting beat in, like you said, we talk about the same thing in preseason, it changes things for everybody. I'm sorry. It just does. So I ain't penciling nobody in.
I'm bringing this up the next time you call me out for my rationale for my 8 receiver charts.
well, I told you. What did I tell you my evaluation was? I think the guy that has experience is the one that starts.
Right.
That's what I said. So I love Kingsley. And so let's say you just go with Wanya. Like I said, it's going to be like the first and second game of the season. Wanya might just become the first and second guy. Then all of a sudden, Kingsley takes it over. So there's nothing wrong with like rotating guys in just to see what they can do. So mine was the experienced guys, what I would go with. Yeah. So
and we've seen them in the middle of games take guys out last year. Remember that was a big deal week 2 of the season when they just took out Jawan for a little bit. So yeah, they can do that for sure. All right. Well, Cole, it was awesome having you on, brother. I know it took an hour of your time. I know you stream every night. You're always doing stuff. So we thank you for coming on and spending an hour with the Chief Concerns crew. We really enjoyed having you on, brother.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. I appreciate being on here. And I was telling them before we went live, I don't go onto a lot of channels. It's not because I'm too cool or anything. It's just what you said. I'm trying to put out content to feed the fam with this being the full-time job. But I am always extremely honored and humbled if we can make schedules work to jump on some of these other podcasts within the Chiefs Kingdom realm, just because I think everybody's worthy of a place, and my opinion's not any greater than anybody else's because I have more subs or anything weird like that. So I'm extremely humbled and honored to be on here, and can't wait to, when this post after the live ends, I'll share it on my channel too, and hopefully get some guys in your direction too. So appreciate all you guys do, and thanks for having me on.
Well, Cole, man, I appreciate it so much, man. I know I'm out here, man. I run my mouth a whole lot. I love coming out here, just kind of talking and evaluating. But having you on here, man, has been an absolute joy, man. And it's been an honor and a pleasure just to have you on here, really. Like I said, you're one of the top guys of The Voice in the kingdom. And we celebrate every bit of you, man. You just keep doing your thing, keep bringing it up, keep killing it, man. Okay. And so much success to you. Like I said before, hopefully this is not the last time. Next time, man, come on. We'll make it a quicker show. I know you do like the quicker shows and stuff like that, but we love the live, man. We get to run in our mouth. I know I do. I talk a lot. So, but I know everybody loves you in the chat. Everybody loves you. We love you too, man. Like I said, keep the thing going. Okay. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thanks, Michael. And Cole, please share. I mean, I'm assuming we have a lot of crossover subscribers, but please share away where they can find you and where they can see you on your channel.
Oh yeah, sure. I am trolling on Twitter quite a bit. You can find me there. How about those Chiefs or HbtChiefs or YouTube? I'm on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, but I just basically put YouTube shorts over there and troll around on Twitter and then make content on YouTube. So that's where you can find me. How about those Chiefs? You'll see the bald head and the beard in the thumbnail. You'll see it pop up.
Yeah. That beard, man, is a glorious thing, man. I love it. It's beautiful. Yeah. How about those Chiefs, y'all? How about those Chiefs? Cole,
let's go.
My brother, let's go. There he is. My man. Appreciate it. And I know everybody in here in the chat, thank you so much for showing up, listening to us talk. I hope y'all got some good stuff that we were just talking about, what y'all think our evaluation of things, how y'all feel about it. I know everybody's got their own mind for it, but always Andrea, Newt Rockney, Casey Colossal, Wendy, Go Forever, KC, Charles Driver, Get Better, my brother, Chad, Word, Cuz, Neff, love you, Melly Matrix, Brenda Pike. Oh man, we got I'm the Brown. People just in here. SA Flip 969, Richard Hall. Let me see who else we got. Wendy, Laura Wake Romos. Laura, how you doing, Laura?
She stayed up for it. Tonight.
Did she? Okay. Julia Gulia. Okay. Brendan Pike, John Clifford. If we can get to name you, we appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for y'all coming on. Come checking us out. Go check my man Cole out. If y'all haven't been doing it already, man, y'all sleeping on him. Seriously. Okay. He's a guy. He's a guy. Mark's my brother, man. Love you, man. Okay. I appreciate you so much. All right.
Thank you, man. Love you, Cole. And I love you, everybody. We'll see you guys Monday for our usual Monday morning tight end show on Monday evening. Hope everyone has a great weekend. We'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.
Fellas.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.